Okay, so good morning, everyone. Thank you for those who have joined. Just a short introduction. My name is Thomas Rickard. A lot of you will be familiar with my colleague Matt Davis. So I am also a senior customer success manager here at LinkedIn, and Matt is one of my colleagues in the office. I manage all of the LinkedIn training for all of our members in Central and Eastern Europe, and Matt does likewise, but for all of our members in Sub-Saharan Africa. So a lot of you may have been expecting to hear Matt's voice this morning. As I said, Matt is my colleague, and we basically rotate who runs these sessions. So it's not that there's a mistake, we just rotate who runs these. Now, I mentioned these sessions, so this is very much a joint venture between myself and Matt. We run 2 training sessions a week, and we also change the topics per session. So the reason I'm telling you that is if you don't have the scheduled view for the next 3 months, depending on what region you're currently sitting in, you will receive an email from Matt or me after this session has ended. And just if you don't have that calendar view, just simply reply and we'll be more than happy to send it on. So in terms of today, what we are going to look at is I do have a very small presentation that I'm going to go through. And then we're going to spend the majority of today's session actually logged into the tool. But a short agenda, so we're going to review the key points. As I said, the majority of the session in the tool, where I will show you some of the features and benefits, also showcase some of the less obvious tricks, and then at any time, answer any questions that you have. Those of you who are not familiar with WebEx, if you could just take a moment, there is a chat box function. So everybody is on mute by default. You cannot unmute yourself, but there is a chat box function. So at any time, if you have a question, please just pop that question through the chat box. If I can pick up on it and stop mid-flow, I will. If not, I will just revert back at the end of the session. But please do ask any questions as they come up. The intended audience for today's session is somebody who is new to the tool, or maybe has not used it for some time and is just looking for a little bit of a refresher. So once again, anybody who is new to the tool, or somebody who has maybe not used it for some time and they're just looking for a refresher. So without further ado, so LinkedIn constantly make changes to specifically our recruiter tools. And we do that for a number of reasons. If I could just to bring it back for one moment. So the logic behind the changes is we constantly ask you guys for feedback, and most of the time you're forthcoming in providing that feedback. And we get a lot of common themes in relation to that feedback. So the changes that we make is based on what you tell us. And the logic behind the recruiter tools is we want to help you find talent faster, how you can discover new talent, but also how you can identify warm leads. And that's what I'm going to be showing you later when we log into the tool. In terms of how we can help you work faster, so that's the common theme, that common message that always comes across from our members is I just want this to be faster. And I don't mean the searching capabilities to be faster, but just how you search. So there is more than one way of searching. The most popular way is what we would call the guided search, which we will look at. But effectively, when you are typing in a word, very similar, I suppose, to how Google's algorithm works, when you're typing in a word, you will get suggestions based on the word you're typing in. So in this particular screenshot example, we're just nearly finished typing the word project, and we can see a drop-down list, and it says people with project manager titles, people with project engineer titles, people with senior project manager titles. So that's twofold. Number one is it's trying to save you time, but also that is LinkedIn telling you, here is a talent pool, and where possible, we want you to select from one of those options. So that is LinkedIn telling you that people with the word project in their job title, the following word is most popular or most common, so manager or engineer or senior manager. So that's why we call that a guided search. So once again, it's twofold. It's meant to save you a little bit of time, but also In terms of smart suggestions, that's LinkedIn saying, hey, here is a talent pool, click here. And 9 times out of 10, more or less every single job title that you can think of, you will have that option. I'm not going to spend too much time on this particular section because we're going to look at that when we log into the tool itself. Very similar to when you're typing in the word and you get a drop down. Through the filters, you will have the top results, and you can either select, and the top results appear in blue, and you can either select them, or you can simply type in your own. And once again, it's that smart suggestions theme. We're telling you these are the most popular popular results for people with that title. Then if we think about how we can identify warm leads, this is our spotlights function. The spotlights function is where, statistically speaking, you're more likely to get a response from these candidates. And that's why we call them your spotlights. We want them to stick out. We want them to be the very first thing that you see. And then if we think about the common themes, the messages we receive from you guys in terms of, you know, working faster, making your life easier, this is the rationale behind this. I would start my search using those spotlights. And here's a closer look at what each of them mean. Now, I'm not going to go through them because we're actually going to I'm going to log into the tool now, and I'm going to go through them one at a time. The idea behind this short presentation is after the session, you will receive a copy of this, and you can digest that information then as you wish. But that's it for the presentation. I did say it was short. So I'm just going to stop sharing this screen, and then I'm going to open up the Recruiter tool. Okay, can somebody please just give me a quick thumbs up? Can you see my screen? It should be the Recruiter tool, the search bar. Okay, perfect, thank you. Okay, so this is the Recruiter tool. This is the first screen you see when you log in. This is, in short, this is your activity page. Now, if you're using the tool for the very first time, your page will not look as busy as this. So don't be concerned. And what I mean by as busy, I can see on my updates, I have some saved searches. I can see on the right-hand side some of the recent projects. I can see some of the job posts, some activity. Don't worry if your page looks different. Don't be concerned. As you use the tool, this page will become more active, as in more information will appear, so don't worry about it. Something I just want to highlight before I do run any sort of searches is to pick this section here with this lovely lady. Once again, if you think about the messages that we receive from our members, one of the common themes would be that our communication was not good. And what I mean by communication was not good was LinkedIn, we would constantly make changes, we would bring out new functionality, we would have new products, but the wider audience would not be aware. You would just simply log into the various tools that we have one day and something would either be gone or something new would have been added. So we've tried to address that issue. So on every time you log into the Recruiter tool, you'll see this option. I'm not going to do it now, but if you click on this, it will open up a new web page. And that web page is specifically designed to tackle that issue. There are videos that you can watch around new products, new releases. There's some screenshots of new products, and as well there is a section where you can attend live like this, live webcasts that are run directly by our product team. So I can only answer so many questions around, you know, what's changing, what's coming down the line. But if it's something you're really interested in, you can hear from the people who actually make these changes, the rationale behind the changes. And if you have questions, obviously, then you can direct them towards them. You don't need to click on the lady now. LinkedIn, we make our changes every quarter. So if there is a new product going to be released or a new filter or a new function, it is every quarter that we do it, and it's usually the last month of the quarter. So what we do is we spend the first 1 to 2 months testing that new function. So a small percentage of our audience, of our members, will have access to it. They'll see it on screen. and we test it. We see the feedback, we see what's good, what's not good, and we make changes, and then ultimately we roll out to a full launch on the last month of every quarter. So for the moment, you don't need to do it, but towards maybe August time, if you have a spare 10, 20 minutes, just click on this on a picture here and just see what's new. So that's enough about me babbling. Let's run some searches. That's why we're here. This is the search bar. There are 3 ways of searching. Number 1 is the job title search, and that's the Smart Suggestions one that I spoke about. So I'm just going to simply type in the word sales, and there's all the drop down. The second way of searching is ideal candidate. That is a way in which you can search via somebody's name. For example, I'm going to type in my own name, Thomas Rickard, and I can click here. You will notice the pictures have been changed. Due to GDPR, we have to change how we now run these sessions. So LinkedIn have a tool inbuilt where the information you see on profiles is not accurate. We're basically masking. So that is not me, but it is my profile. So you can search via somebody's name. And then the last way of searching is keyword or Boolean searching. Some people call this advanced searching, and it looks something like this. Ignore what I've searched for. I just wanted to show you what it looks like. So some people call that advanced searching. The correct terminology is Boolean. So the reason we have more than one way of searching is we do not want you to be an expert in just one. So it's fair to say, particularly within recruitment, 4 or 5 years ago, the only way of searching was via Boolean or via an advanced search. However, we're fully aware that not everybody now who moves into the recruitment world, into the recruitment industry, is a Boolean expert. And that's why we have more than one way. Also, depending on the search that you do, you could do the same search. You could do one search in the job title, and you could run the exact same search in a Boolean search string, and you would get 2 different talent pools because of the string you've put together in Boolean. So that's another reason why we have more than one way, because we don't want you to just only use one. You should expand your horizons. You should think a little bit outside the box when running searches, and it's a great way. So don't ever just tie yourself down to one. If you don't know about Boolean or advanced searching, if you've never used it before, there is a session that Matt and I run, and it's called LinkedIn 102. So it's very much the follow-up session to today's. And all of our creative genius, that's the title that we came up for. If you want to learn more about that way of searching, just register for that session. But for today, I'm not going to concentrate on it. I'll just look at the other 2 because it's a whole session in itself trying to learn the logic. So let's run some searches. So I'm just going to run a simple job title search. So I'll just stick with sales people. Let's go sales specialists. The location, I'll just pick Ireland because that's where we are based. Skills, we don't need to enter the skills here. All we need really is the title and the location, and then I can see up here my talent pool, but we're going to click go. Perfect, and here's my results page. So at the outset, at the very top, these are the spotlights in which I was referring to in the presentation. You will see a few more options here. But these are the 3 main ones, and I'm going to go through each of these 3. These are the most important part of the tool in terms of identifying warm leads. So if we think about the role of somebody who works in talent acquisition or HR or whatever job title you want to put on that, the concept is to, I suppose, firstly have that initial engagement with a candidate. And from that initial engagement, hopefully you've piqued their interest enough that maybe you have a phone call or a face-to-face interview. But it's really that initial engagement that's key. And the whole concept behind the spotlights are we want to help you with that. You'll remember during the presentation I said statistically speaking you're more likely to get a response from these 3. So I'll go through them one at a time. So in the first bracket here, the total candidates is 32,000. Out of those 32,000, 6,916 are more likely to respond. What that means is these are people who LinkedIn have identified from the total candidates here. These are people who LinkedIn have identified that are just really active on LinkedIn. So it doesn't necessarily mean they're interested in the role that you have available, but they're just really active. And what I mean by active is all the activities you can do on LinkedIn. So posting content, liking, sharing, sending emails, publishing posts. These guys are just really active. So we feel you're more likely to get some sort of response, some sort of engagement from them. The next option is probably the best part of the recruiter tool. It's certainly the one that got people most excited when we launched it last year. So open to new opportunities. These are people who have selected on their personal profiles that they are open to a new opportunity. So i.e. they want to speak to me. These are warm leads. They have also selected on their profiles what opportunities they want to speak about. So in this case, it would have been sales. And they've also selected locations and if they want to work full-time or part-time, etc., etc. So these are warm leads. We know that these people are interested in a sales position. This particular search, it's in Ireland. So they're interested in a sales position in Ireland. And I know for a fact, because they've selected it on their personal profile, that they want to speak to me about it. A quick point on this, because people often ask me, how accurate is this information? It's extremely accurate. I'm not going to show you on the call how to turn this on for obvious reasons. But in theory, if you're interested in a new opportunity, on your personal LinkedIn profile, there's a jobs tab where you can search for jobs. And through that tab, that's where you turn this on. And when you turn it on, it asks you those questions. So what positions do you want to talk about? You can even add notes for recruiters. So you can tell recruiters you only want to speak about this. But just to finish what I was saying, it just means it's extremely accurate information. And we're also trying to help you with these people. So when you send these emails, it is free. So it doesn't use a credit. And also, we're trying to help you get a response from those. So if they don't do anything, if they just ignore your email, LinkedIn contact them after 1 week, and we tell them, hey, you've got an email sitting there from Thomas. You've also selected that you're open to an opportunity. Respond to that email about that opportunity or turn open to opportunities off. And that's another reason why we consider that completely accurate information, because if somebody was to toggle that, if somebody was to turn it on by mistake, which can't happen because they get notification it's on, but if somebody was to turn it on by mistake and then they get contacts, so they get messages from recruiters, LinkedIn tell them to, hey, turn this option off or respond to those recruiters. The last one is engage with your talent brand. There's a common misunderstanding. So people seem to think that these are your company followers. They're not your company followers. We would consider these to be stronger than your company followers. These are people who, so everybody on this call works for an organization, and that organization has a company page on LinkedIn. And I don't know who's in charge of the company page. Maybe it's somebody in marketing or recruitment, but whoever it is would post content on behalf of the company, maybe post videos or pictures or something. These are people who are commenting on the content. So they're liking those statuses, they're sharing those statuses, and they're replying to those statuses. So they're actively speaking to the company. So the sum of these three sections, warm leads, and statistically, you're more likely to get a response from them. So they're your spotlights. There are more here, such as past applicants, which I think is really important. In the long run, you can see people who have previously applied for a role within your company. Okay, so let's move down. So on the left-hand side, you see all of these filters. In fact, there's a lot more if you click on Advanced, which I will do a little bit later on. But if you click on Advanced, you get a list of about 25 more. Your left-hand side will look different to mine. So this is all memory-based. So in total, there's over 30 of these filters, and as you use them, so if I click on Advanced now and I was to select 2 or 3 of them, the next time I log into the tool, they would then appear here. So if you think about the common theme again of saving time, that's the logic behind it. LinkedIn is learning from your preferences and we will then put those filters here. In truth, you will never use all 30. There's just not a need for it. If you're using all 30, there's something not quite right with the searches that you're doing. But there's a lot of different types of searches that you can do, and that's why there's so many. So it depends what you're trying to accomplish. In fact, you can even use a tool for business development. You can use a tool for analyzing movements in and out of companies, or analyzing movements in and out of a specific industry. So there's a lot of different ways of, a lot of different types of searching rather than just searching for your next hire. But that's why there's so many. I'm not going to go through them all now. It's all pretty obvious. So if I was looking for a sales specialist, and the type of skills I'd want, business development maybe. Once again, as you're typing it in, you get the drop down and you just keep on going. So it's pretty obvious. I'm not going to go through all of them. Something I do want to highlight. So I mentioned new releases, new products. Something that was recently released is similar to when somebody is selecting that they're open to a new opportunity. They can also select if they wish to relocate to a different country. So if I select here, underneath locations, you see now I get 3 tick boxes. So I can get open to relocating, current or open to relocating, or current only. So that's in reference to Ireland. So currently in Ireland, current or open to relocating to Ireland, so people outside Ireland, and then open to relocating only. So let me just tick on this, maybe let's see what we get. Perfect, just over 1,000 people. So these are maybe some ex-nationals and who are Irish and have moved abroad and maybe want to come back, or people who are just interested in moving over to Ireland for an opportunity. It's something just to consider when searching for that next hire. Now, I know depending on the region that you're in and the country, there may be some visa issues, so it's not always as straightforward. But just that option is available. So don't exclude talent from your searches. Depending, obviously, if you have to get visas and so on, you won't select this option. But if you're in an open place where that's no problem, then just have a look. And then if we scroll down and we go to employment type, this was released at the same time. We now offer contract roles and internships. So once again, it's not going to be relevant for everybody on the call, but anybody who's ever worked in HR or talent acquisition, filling a contract role is difficult because for obvious reasons, there's a lot of uncertainty around the role. Once again, these are people who, when they're turning open to opportunities on, they're also selecting that they want to work on a contract basis or an internship basis. Okay, so the rationale behind your searching and using all these filters is you want to make this number manageable. So right now I've got just over 1,000 profiles. Realistically, that's way too many. I'm never going to look at all those profiles to fill a position. If you're looking at 1,000 profiles for one position, there's something not right about your search. You should get more specific. Now, I'm just going to randomly toggle a few things here just to see if I can get that down. Yeah, perfect, 57. Whatever your idea of a manageable talent pool is, I will leave that up to you. Just for the purposes of this demonstration, I randomly selected a few options now at 57 people. Okay, so now you have your talent pool. You've added in all your filters, all your skills, maybe some university, so some qualifications you want them to have. Underneath advanced, you'll be able to check, you can see years of experience. So you've went through everything, you have a manageable number. So now what do? So now we need to find somewhere where we can work from. So we have all of these people, and once again, these are fake guys. This is the tool that LinkedIn used to mask real profiles, so these are not real. But we have our number. What do? So if you notice, if I scroll my mouse over each profile, I have like a tick box. But there's 25 profiles per page. In theory, if I've added in all my skills and I've really drilled down, everybody should be an ideal match. So what I'm going to do is I need to create somewhere to work from. So I'm going to add these profiles. If I tick this box, it will select all 25. Oh, what did I do there? I think I went to page 2. Anyway, so if I tick here, it's going to select everybody on this page. And then if I scroll over to here, you'll see Save to Projects. So I need to create somewhere where I can work from, and this is where you do it. Create new project, project name, test, and then add. Where do my projects go? I know you can't see it because there's a WebEx logo here, so it's blanked out for you guys, but up here it says projects, and these are all projects that I have created. So I'm just going to pick on one that I know I have profiles in. So I've ran my search. I've really drilled down on the skills, everything that I'm looking for. I have all of this talent. What do? I create a project, and here is my projects. So here is your body of work. Here is where you work from. And these are all the profiles that I added. Of course, you can add more as you go along. In fact, you can remove profiles, but here is where I work from. So as I'm speaking to these, so once again, you'll notice there's a tick box beside each one. I can select the tick box, and I can change the status. So let's say I contacted this guy. You notice here changes. So here's how I track what I'm doing. With Hayden, what did Hayden do? Let's say Hayden replied. Lee, what did Lee do? Let's say rejected. And so on and so forth. The whole concept is this is where you are able to just track your body of work. This is how you're able to see who you've contacted and what your day ahead looks like effectively. Beside all of them, you'll see send message. Of course, as your conversations progress, this won't make sense. You'll need, each conversation will be completely personalized. But for your very first outreach, so when you've added everybody to this project, your very first outreach, in theory, as I said, everybody should be a perfect match for the role anyway. So if you tick all here, it will select all of the profiles. And then we can go to message. And that includes all 25 profiles. Now, they will not know that they're included on this thread. All you need to do is change the salutation to whatever it is you wish, hi, dear, so on. LinkedIn will automatically populate the name for you, but they will not know they're included. So this is just your first outreach. And like I said, in theory, your first outreach should make sense because everybody should be a perfect fit for the role. Of course, you can send 25 individual messages if you wish. That's up to you. But for your first outreach, using this this bulk message option, I think is the best solution. So you type your message and then send. You notice on the right hand side I have two boxes. So as you send messages, or sorry, as you're typing messages, you can save them as a template. So and then save as a template. And here's where you can search for your recent ones. These are ones I've saved. And you'll notice I've also access to ones my team have saved. So within any organization, particularly within sales, you always hear of people saying, I've got this really killer sales email, or an introduction, or maybe it's inviting people to an event. There's no point typing that up every time. You can just use templates or save it that once, and you've always got it there. The next option I think is pretty cool. So once again, this was a new release when open to relocating and contracted internship roles were available. You can also sync your calendar up with your InMails. Unfortunately, though, it's only available on Gmail or Outlook. If you're using any other provider, it's not available at the moment. But why would you do this? So once again, if we think about the common themes and the messages we receive from our members, this is trying to tackle one of those issues. So these people in this particular message, all 25 of them, they will have options to see my calendar. If I've synced it up, I haven't synced mine up. And they can book time into my calendar. Now, it's obviously completely confidential. They can't see at 2 o'clock you're talking to Thomas, at 3 o'clock you're talking to Matthew. They can just see availability. And they can book time in, and when they book that time in, it will ask them for some pieces of information like name, phone number, and email address. But the whole idea behind this is rather than emailing back and forth, are you free today, are you free tomorrow, are you free next week, they can see your calendar. And they can do it themselves. So once again, you don't have to do this. But if it's going to save you a little bit of time and a little bit of hassle, that's where you do it. Just click on this button and then click Sync Calendar, and it will bring you through the integration. So that's how you, once again, can send an individual message, or if you highlight everybody and click on Message. Of course, with projects, you don't have to work alone. So Anybody, if you have more than one recruiter seat in your organization, so you can share the projects, which is this button. So here it is, me searching, or sorry, me sharing with Matt Davis. That means Matt will have access to the same view that I have, and we can both work on the same project together. When Matt is doing activities on these profiles, I'll see this little eyeball here, and it will tell me who's looked at it. So if it's Matt, I'll see a picture of Matt. If there's been notes added, you can see these are all the notes options, so I can read maybe notes that Matt's left. I can't see in mails that Matt has sent. So if Matt sends an in-mail to Carrie here, I can't see the in-mail. So I'm very much relying on Matt to leave some notes on the profile to reference what the in-mail was about. And then I can see here when Matt, if Matt changes this, which he should be doing, if he's replied or so on and so forth. So it's a great collaboration tool. So once again, it's just this button, and then you type in. You do need a recruiter seat, but then that's how you do it. And then lastly, before I move off this section, you'll notice underneath send message, it says ask for review. So once upon a time, I was visiting a client, and one of the questions from one of the recruiters was, Thomas, I'm sick of printing profiles and bringing them to my manager. Is there a way in which I can do this? Is there a way in which I can do this better? Yes, that was the answer. You can, for every recruiter seat you have in your company, you get 20 hiring manager seats. The concept behind a hiring manager seat is, if I'm a recruiter, so me, Thomas, I'm a recruiter, and I want a second opinion on this profile, I can click on ask for review and send it to my manager. And that's my manager. I can send it to him. The only action that he can take is basically just to rate the profile out of 10, 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, and leave comments. So, hey, Thomas, 7 out of 10, I think these are interesting, it's worth a telephone call or whatever. Of course, once again, you don't have to do this, but if your manager's asking you, what profiles you're working on, or I want to give my opinion before you reach out to somebody, that's how you do it. Of course, you can still print the profiles if you really want to do it that way. So if I tick this box, you'll see print profiles or save the PDF. You can do it that way if you wish, or if we're thinking about just trying to save the environment and save some trees and save some paper, you don't have to print them, just send them, ask for review. Just make sure your manager has been given a hiring manager seat first. Okay, so we're just coming up to time, so I'm going to try and do this quickly. I'm just going to click into this profile. So on every profile you click into, you'll have these options here, which are called recruiter tools. I'm not going to go through all of them. I just want to show you the two that I think are the most important or the most useful. The first is the bell, so a reminder. Simply set a reminder. So if you remember the first page, when I logged in, I said it's your activity page, and the more you use the tool, the more busy it will look. So once again, if I was to set a reminder, maybe to call this guy, that's where it would appear, and just add in my notes. So it would appear on my activity page on that day. The last one is this little star button, update me. So you can have 50 updates turned on. And what that means is, if I was to select update me on this particular guy's profile, if he makes a change to his LinkedIn profile, I'll get notification on it. But more importantly, if at some point he selects that he's open to an opportunity, I'll receive notification on it, and LinkedIn would also tell me what he has selected. So maybe I've spoke to this particular gentleman in the past, and he said, you know what, Thomas, I'm really happy. Come back to me in 6 months. Or if it's just a profile you want to keep an eye on because you've got a really interesting background, really interesting skill sets, just tick on this. Now, if you have 50 of these going, your activity page is going to get pretty busy, so try and use it wisely. But I can take action in real time if he selects that he's open to an opportunity, because LinkedIn will tell me what that opportunity is. So if he selects he wants to talk about a sales position or a project manager role or an IT role, LinkedIn will tell me straight away. Okay. Now I just want to show you a few more small things. I want to get back to my search results. So I click on saved. And these are all the searches that I saved because I want to show you how you can save a search. So I'm just going to click into any search. So when you run a search, if it's a search you're going to run all the time, I would always recommend clicking this button here, Save Search. Saving search is pretty obvious, why you would do it. Number one is it saves you time, but also throughout all of my travels and all of my meetings, it's very rarely used, and I really don't know why. So the obvious one is it saves you time, but also if I show you my save searches, so once again to get into that, I just click Save. Sorry, so just to save a search, guys, you run your search, you drill down, and then you click this button here and you save it. Where do you find it? Here underneath Saved. So these are all the searches I've saved. You notice all of them have the word new beside them. So when you save a search, it's not a static report. So as people join LinkedIn, as they join the network, or if they upgrade their skills, they change their skill sets, and it matches what I'm looking for, they get added to my search. So that creates a talent pool over time. And that's what's, I know saving a search will save you time, but for me, the most beneficial part of saving a search is because of this. It gives me a brand new talent pool. The pushback I often get is, well, Thomas, if I'm hiring for a particular position today, I may not need another one of those. I may not hire that position again for another 3 or 4 or 5 months. And that very well may be the case. But that's another reason why you should save it. That's even more important reason why you should save it, because in those 5 months, I have a brand new talent pool of profiles that I have not looked at. And it literally takes 2 minutes to save a search. And then when the time comes, check out the brand new talent pool. That's why you would do it. Okay. So what we have looked at is how to run a job title search. So remember, simply type in title and pick one of these. We've looked at some of the filters, how you can drill down. We've looked at spotlights. We've looked at using projects and collaborating with your team. And we've looked at using the recruiter tool. So setting up alerts and notifications. Here is where they would appear, guys, if I had any alerts due today, or if I was following any profiles and they did some changes, here's where they would appear. The second way of searching, and I'm going to show you this quickly, is you can search via somebody's name. So sometimes of course, you can have the best intake meeting with your manager or your client, and you can really drill down, I want this background, I want this qualification, I want these skills. But wouldn't it be easier if we could just say, Thomas over there or Matt, if I could just have another one of them, that would be brilliant. Sometimes it's difficult to find that secret sauce. What makes that perfect candidate? And often the most successful candidates within a role are not necessarily the ones who have ticked every box. So if I have 10 boxes to tick, maybe they've ticked 7 or 8. And they're often the most successful. So now you can, and once again, this is just a different way of searching, but you can search via people's names. So I'm going to run a search. I'm going to type in my name. So Thomas Rickard, and I'm going to type in Matt's name. Actually, no, I won't type in my name. I'll type in Hannah, who's a colleague of mine as well, and then I'm going to type in Matt Davis. And that's it. Literally just typed in their names. So Matt, Hannah, and then Matt, and then I'm going to click Go. You'll notice a big difference now on this search to the one we did originally. And this is the big difference. All of the left-hand side has been pre-populated. LinkedIn, what LinkedIn does is it aggregates everything that Matt and Hannah have in common, all their skill sets, their backgrounds, the companies, the industries, and it gives me a talent pool based on commonalities between the two profiles. So it's a really unique way of searching. It's a great way of searching to fill very specific niche roles. If you think about, certainly throughout my travels, IT is the hot topic. Engineers, developers, anything really that falls underneath the IT space. And as recruiters, we should have a lot of connections on LinkedIn. And this is a great way of identifying, 1 or 2 or 3 IT professionals that I've hired before. And I'm going to run a search based on just by entering their names and just have a look at the talent pool that comes up. Because quite often these are people who it would be difficult to find them if I was just to do a normal search and put in all the skills. But it's just a great way. It does not mean that Matt and Hannah have worked for all of these companies. They do work for LinkedIn, as I said. But what it tells me is the people, so if we think about commonalities between the two profiles, the people I'm looking for, so the type of people like Matt and Hannah, they have experience in these companies. And there's a common theme there. It's either internet or SaaS. So once again, it's just a different way of searching. Okay, guys, we are literally just out of time, so I'm going to finish up there now. If you have any questions, I'll stay on the line and answer any that you have. If you don't, please feel free to log off. You will receive an email from either Matt or me, depending on where you're currently sitting, what country you're in. But if you're logging off, thank you very much for listening. But if you have any questions, guys, just pop them through the chat box, and I'll stay on the line and answer them. Okay, no questions coming through. Just thank yous. Thank you very much for listening. Right, I'll shut down the session then because we are gone 1 minute over. So once again, thank you so much for your time this morning. Enjoy.